One second. Good afternoon, evening. How are you?
I'm great, and you?
Good. Hello,
Good.
everybody. I'm Rosalind Thomas, and I'm guest hosting for Prophet Yolanda Garner this evening with Conversations with Yolanda. And we have a special guest, Miss Nancy Jeffries. She'll be introducing herself in a moment. Again, my name is Rosalind Thomas, and some of you remember me from the last couple of weeks. We've been discussing mental health for the month of November. The first week, we kind of touched on mental health and how it affects us and some ways that we self care ways. Then the next week, we did discuss a little bit on mental health and trauma and how trauma impacts our mental health and discussed ways on, again, uh, being able to help us when we're experiencing traumatic events. Self care, that's the term I was looking for. And so this week we'll be talking about mental health and how COVID-19 has impacted mental health. So at that this time, I'd like to introduce our special guest.
Hello, everyone. My name is Nancy Jeffries. I am a wife, a mother of five, and a grandmother of 18. I am a CEO of Wrapped in Love in Your Arms, Woman's Nest. Um, what else I can say about myself? I'm a deacon in church, but again, we will be discussing how COVID-19 has impacted mental health.
Hmm. Yeah. Okay. So starting off with it, I would like to talk about that there was talk about mental health prior to COVID-19, and I think it was picking up traction, and people were thinking about therapy or just hearing that term, and it wasn't as unfamiliar, right? And so now we're in a place where mental health is really picked up a lot of traction, and I think a lot of it has to do with the effects of COVID-19. And just during that time, especially in the beginning, the uncertainty of what was going on. We didn't know what COVID-19 looked like. This was brand new for all of us. And then we were told to isolate, then we were losing loved ones. And just being isolated for that long period of time, as well as the fear, the uncertainty, it increased or had an effect on our mental health. And so that's something that I really would like us to talk about, because I think that's important for where we are now and building on the topics that we have. And I know this is something that Prophet Yolanda, also wanted to discuss, because it's super important to where we are right now.
Yes, yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, and we know that mental health been out here for a long time.
Hmm.
And we know that they had closed a lot of the mental health facilities. And so when COVID-19 hit, we know that I experienced for myself when COVID-19 hit, I didn't realize that I had anxiety
Hmm.
until it was time to go back to work and I was driving
Yeah.
and noticing that the streets were empty and no one out there. And, you done seen movies, different things of how, viruses have
Hmm.
played out. And so I'm like, what is really going on? Why am I feeling like this?
Yeah.
You
Hmm.
know, um, and so just me experiencing that, and I'm like, I'm not even, not knowing that I had some type of anxiety or mental illness, as we
Yeah.
call it. And
Hmm.
I'm like, if I feel like this, just imagine the ones that is really impacted. I'm
Yeah.
like, it's over a 10 for them,
Yeah.
knowing that they have no one that they can
Mhm.
see because everyone is isolated, and if they live alone, they in their
Mhm.
house alone.
Yep.
So that right there is scary for them.
Hmm.
So for me, I was the impact when Johnny got COVID, and how thoughts came up in my head when I would be downstairs because we had to isolate in two different places.
Okay.
So I was at my sink washing greens one day, and I'm hearing, my thoughts was like, you want to leave, run, go, get out of here. He
Hmm.
got COVID.
Hmm.
And I'm like, no, you a lie. I'm not going nowhere.
Yeah.
I'm in this thing for better, for worse, for
Hmm.
rich or for poor.
Hmm.
But just to imagine how that came up in my thought, like to
Yeah.
flee, to
Yeah.
run,
Hmm.
so it was a scary time for me, but because I learned how to meditate on the
Yes.
word,
Hmm.
how to pray,
Hmm.
that helped me a whole lot,
Okay.
and I advise anyone meditate.
Hmm.
I've learned. I had did some self-care sticks,
Yeah.
to just pull out a stick every day,
Mm-hmm.
once a weekend, to try to accomplish that.
Mm-hmm.
I did a vision board of just trying to do some things that we can better ourselves during the
Right.
season.
Right. And I want to touch on something that you mentioned when you were driving to work. You said, and the streets were empty. I could attest to, I had never been downtown and it looked like a ghost town. And
Yeah.
so just that, and like you said, looking like you're in a movie. And so the anxiety of one being out there all alone, like, or seemingly like you're alone, can cause anxiety. And
Hmm.
like you, that did cause some anxiety within myself. And I can say that I did not, with COVID-19 and just with uncertainties of it, and just with family going through health challenges at that time. So it was such an anxious time for me. It was so anxious about going outside, so anxious about me myself getting sick because I had some health challenges as well. So just increased anxiety, concern for myself, concern for loved ones, concern for family, increased anxiety for not knowing what tomorrow would look like.
Yes.
So, it does cause that increase. And I was reading some just different topics related to anxiety and related to depression and the prevalence, the increase of anxiety within each subgroups, different subgroups, with women, based on reporting, women more reported more anxiety or depressive feelings than men did. And then when you get into your subgroups and start bringing in ethnicities, then we get into different types of reports of anxiety and depression. And
Hmm.
each report, it was an increase from before 2019, before 2020. So it was an increase. And so, and like one of the other things that you shared in regard to people living alone and not being able to see anyone because we're isolated. And so it's I don't know, I think in it and coming out of it, I should say, or coming from where we were, looking back, I can see how anxious I personally was in regard to a lot of aspects in my life. And so, with you, I did have to learn different self care techniques to be able to assist me with the anxious feelings that I was experiencing.
Yes. Yeah. I mean, I had to cut off the TV
Yeah.
because all you was hearing was
Mhm.
COVID, COVID, deaths, deaths,
Mhm.
and that was I got tired of getting it in my ear gate
Mhm.
because it was just playing over and over, and then the fear of it, wasn't making it no better.
Mhm.
And so we know that COVID-19 pandemic have brought many changes to
Yeah.
many of our lives.
Yes.
At times uncertainty, altered daily routines, financial pressures,
Mhm.
and social isolation. You know, um, People wasn't able to go to work,
Right.
provide for their families. That
Mhm.
was stress,
Yeah.
anxiety
Mhm.
itself.
Mhm.
Um, so for me, it was just
Yeah.
not knowing when was it going to end,
Mhm.
because it shut down everything. It
Yes.
didn't just shut down stores, it shut down the churches. I
Yep.
mean, places that we go to worship, where we
Mhm.
know we able to go there and get a
Mhm.
sense of energy, a release.
Yeah.
It was shut down.
Yeah.
So we was, had to do everything in our home,
Mhm.
you know. So it was just, worrying about getting sick, even when you did go back to work or getting
Yeah.
out, going to the store, you get out the car and you
Mhm.
forget you didn't have your mask yet. You have
Yeah.
to run back to your car, grab a mask, and so it's a lot of changes that took place.
Yeah.
You know, whereas we had to learn to deal with it.
Yeah. I would like to read just a couple of statistics related to anxiety and COVID-19, and a statistic from American Psychological Association is 7.4 to 8.6% of December of 2019. That was the average monthly percentage of US adults reporting symptoms of anxiety, January to December. from August 20th, from April, August 2020 to August 2022, it is 28.2% to 37.2. That is a substantial hike,
Yes.
for from 7.4% to 28.2% is a substantial hike and just shows how people were suffering during that time. And
Mm-hmm.
we're just speaking about anxiety. We haven't even touched on depression and any symptoms that people might have experienced from depression. And so thinking about anxiety and the fact that, and those were just the people that reported it. That's a substantial hike, um, and a lot coming from uncertainty. We just don't know. And so some of the self-care techniques, I heard you mention that you created some sticks. Would you like to share those with us at this time?
Yeah.
I think that's awesome.
So the self care sticks that I did. Let me see. So I would pull out something once a week, something you can do. You don't want to do anything like, okay, I'm going to Jamaica or anything like that. You want to do something realistic within a week. You want to give yourself a pedicure.
Hmm.
You know, mm, let me go here.
Hmm.
Sing at the top of your
I
lungs.
love that. I
I'm
love
telling you, go to the art museum.
that. Hmm.
So just different things that you can do, learn something new.
Hmm.
So something that you can just do on your own. Get rid of some old clothes.
Yeah, yeah.
Something you're not wearing. And another thing I've learned during this season, during the pandemic was like we couldn't go anywhere. So
Hmm.
I'm like all of these clothes that I have,
Hmm.
I done gave so much stuff out now because I'm like still, I'm not going as many places as I used to,
Right.
since the pandemic hit.
Hmm.
Me, Johnny was in the process of going to Vegas, going to Tennessee for a trip. He never got on a plane, so I finally got him to get on a plane, and the
Hmm.
pandemic hit.
Okay.
So now it's like, oh, I can't even try to talk to him about a plane. So it's like, oh my goodness, he is not trying to hear that right now. So, but yeah, take a road trip. He'll drive, but
Hmm.
again,
That's a good
even
one.
going to the hotel, he's still like if I gotta go to a hotel and sanitize every time I go, I'm like, we might as well
Hmm.
stay home.
Yeah,
It's like
yeah. That anxious part of, am I picking up something from this hotel?
yeah, yeah, that's Johnny. He had COVID, so I cannot say how I know it impact him
Hmm.
bad. I seen Johnny go from looking like my young son to now, then it aged him. I
Okay.
seen his hair turn completely white.
Okay.
Um And I would tell Johnny that very thing you focused on came upon you
Hmm.
because all he was hearing was it. I can't be around anyone. My
Hmm.
job said I can't be around anyone. I can't do this. I can't
Hmm.
do that.
Hmm.
And so he put so much emphasis on it until it came upon him.
Okay.
And so Johnny never been sick.
Okay.
And so when it came on him, that was for him brought fear instantly
Okay.
because he heard of all the deaths
Hmm.
you know and I can say he still going through.
Hmm.
He don't say it, but I can kind of feel it, and sense it.
Hmm.
And we pray, and I just thank God that he's better. He's healed,
Yeah.
but
Yes.
it played an impact on him,
Hmm.
to the point like he don't want to travel.
Right.
And so I'm like, where I'm gonna wait until he get ready to get back, to want to travel, but I'm not gonna pressure him because again, I don't know how he felt during that season
Right. And
you
that's
know
a good point. And I'm so happy that you brought that up for individuals that did experience COVID and recovered from COVID, the anxiety and the fear of, I don't want to get COVID again. And so,
hmm
yeah, their anxiety is a little bit different from maybe someone that has not had COVID.
hmm
I'm anxious on this end. I haven't had it, but I'm anxious. I don't want to get it. I'm on this end. I've had it, don't want to get it again. So now my anxiety may be slightly higher because of that fear of I don't want to go anywhere, do anything because I want to stay well because I know what it feels like. So
Mm-hmm.
that anxiety attached to post COVID for individuals that have had it. And so those self-care sticks, I think those are so incredible, so incredible.
Thank you.
I'm gonna have to make me some
Yes.
to use because it's so good because we do go through different things within our lives, period. But then when you attach, what we're going through globally with COVID-19, being able to have some self-care, I think that's amazing. Also, I know you mentioned meditation, and
Yes.
share. And I see a smile with that. You want to share a little bit about your thoughts on
Oh,
meditation?
yeah, that really helped me. Before I go to bed, I would just lay there and just be still and be quiet
Okay.
and focus on the good, the good things.
Mhm.
Just literally just remove all the negativity,
Mhm.
all the things that mean us no good,
Yeah.
out of our thoughts and just be still and be quiet.
Yes.
Um, I focus on those things that are good, you
Mhm.
know. But yeah, meditation really helped me.
Okay.
I remember, just I went through warfare in my home during COVID.
Mhm.
So for me, it was like I never experienced warfare like that until Johnny got COVID, and it was really trying to, do damage, you
Okay.
know.
Mhm.
But
Mhm.
I just thank God we have a relationship with God
Yeah.
and being able to pray.
Mhm.
You know, I would recommend anyone, you know, find that relationship, higher power, whatever you want to call it,
Mhm.
but it was good for us, to know that we had someone that
Mhm.
we can call on,
Yes.
in the midst of our storm.
Yeah. That's incredible. I know I've over the last several years come to learn more about meditation and understanding just sitting and being still, um, being able to be grateful in those quiet moments that you're
Hmm.
alive, being able to be grateful in those quiet moments. And I'm not at all saying that um, finding those quiet times to be grateful sometimes it's difficult because of a lot of the stress, the fear, the anxiety, the depression. Sometimes it is, but I think it is so helpful to just get in those times where maybe you can turn on some worship music, instrumentals, whatever it is that can just allow you to just relax and be
Hmm.
centered and just let the day wash away. I don't know if people, sometimes with meditation, um, you can do that. I don't know if people like bubble baths. It's just different things for you as an individual to be able to find what works for you
Hmm.
whenever that anxiousness comes, whenever and going into depression, whenever you start isolating, whenever you start feeling sad, whenever you start not wanting to have an interest in any of the things that you were doing. And it's fine by me. I don't want to leave the house. I take it a step further. I'm not going to leave my room. So finding things when we see that, oh my God, is happening, I'm being affected by these depressive feelings, being able to reach out. And I know we mentioned that last week a lot when we spoke about trauma, being able to know when it's time to reach out for professional help. And that's
Hmm.
also a part of self care, being able to reach out for that professional person when you need it, or even just reaching out to a family member or a friend um, if you need to. And so I, self-care, 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 and it absolutely is individual based, I do believe. And meditation, though, that I enjoy meditation and
Hmm.
deep breathing. Deep breathing is another one that
Yes.
I've benefited
Yes.
from. When you're deep breathing, initially when I first came into the knowledge of deep breathing as a coping mechanism, I was like, that does not work. It works, it works. And so that's another um, coping skill or self-care thing that we can do when we're experiencing those things.
Hmm.
um,
I work at a college, and our nursing students are, oh, they stressed, because of just being in nursing school,
Okay.
stressful.
Mhm.
And so when it's time for them to take a test, they are even more stressed.
Okay.
So I have had students that come to my office, Miss Jeffries, could you pray for us right quick before we take the exam? And so I'm like, come on, close the door, and girl, I go in and pray. They come back, oh, Miss Jeffries, I passed. But just the idea of how, because when I would have to proctor them, and I would say, do you all want me to pray? You know, but everyone got to agree because I don't want to pray, if they don't agree.
Mhm.
So they say, yes, Miss Jeffries, pray. So they got on to me praying for them, for the test. And now, my son, he comes up there and he
Okay.
does mindfulness with the students before the exam.
Mhm.
So he comes 3 times a month when
Okay.
they taking the exams, and they love it.
Okay.
He does mindfulness meditation,
Okay.
and so that's helping them as well.
I think that's so awesome that he comes up there and he does that. And I'm sure they're benefiting from it as well.
Yeah, I seen students today. They was like, Miss Jeffries, your son coming because they have an exam Thursday. Is he
Okay.
coming up here? And I'm like, yes, he'll be here. So
And so
yeah,
he,
but
okay.
yes, stress and anxiety comes in many forms.
Oh, absolutely.
Yes,
Absolutely.
and just even being in nursing school, the students, some of the hospital students can go for clinicals because they want to allow students to come in because of the pandemic.
Yeah. Mhm.
And so just trying to get, you know, those doors back open for them to go,
Yeah.
fully, to get the clinical requirements that they need to be successful as a nurse, you
Yes.
know.
Mhm. Yeah.
But yes, it was challenging, even in the hospitals, a
Yeah.
lot of nurses left,
Mhm.
they was
Because it was just such a challenging time, for all of us, and then impacting our mental health, and like some of the things that we spoke of, that even right now, if you're recognizing that, I just don't have an interest in doing anything, don't want to go anyplace, don't really want to interact with others, or just the nervousness, the thought process, the coaching that you may have to do to even get yourself to go outside every day.
mm,
The coaching that is possible, that you have to do to be able to get up and go to work in the morning, to be able to get out of your car to walk into the building, and experiencing some of those things, and then incorporating, if you're in your car and you're experiencing some anxious thoughts, or if feeling like you're hyperventilating, and learning to calm that breathing down, and then taking a deep breath and letting it go. Uh,
yes,
so because it's just such a difficult time that we're all coming through. I know we're still, got some things going on, but just during this time. And so self care, self care, self care, self care, and finding, I cannot stress this enough. Everybody has their version of self care, but
yes,
finding what absolutely works for you. And go ahead and show us that one.
this is a self-care. Oh,
Hmm. Yep. I see the bath. I see the heart walking. Oh God, I'm so happy I saw that one walking. I see someone getting your hair done, movies, haircut. Oh yeah. What else do we see? I don't
so
see.
yeah, I with the nursing students and the PTA students, I did a workshop with the self-care sticks and the vision board,
Okay, that's
and
awesome.
they loved it.
Mhm.
They were so excited because not only it give them hope to
Mhm.
put on their board what they want to see
Mhm.
themselves accomplish. So we buy, I either pulled off some articles off the website, print cut them out of
Mhm.
what they're going to school for, nursing or PTA, and different quotes.
Okay.
We purchased some things from Amazon, and they made their boards, and I say, put it somewhere where you can see it every day and speak
Yeah.
over it every single day
Mhm.
and see that it's coming to pass.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
did a vision board, and my stuff's still coming to pass.
See, that's
You know,
so incredible. I love to hear it. I love to
yes.
hear it. That's so incredible because it's giving you something to look forward to.
Yeah.
It's giving you something to see besides what's going on up here, what's going up in our mind and our thought process, what we're thinking about. I can see something visibly. I'm believing that that's coming to pass. So that is a version of a form of self care.
Yes. Because even you know how you always think, okay, I'm gonna do this, I'm gonna do that. But
Mm-hmm.
I tell you, when I wrote the vision down, when the Bible speaks about write the vision down and make it plain,
Uh-huh.
and I put that vision down on that vision board, and I kid you not,
Yeah.
I'm seeing it manifest right before my eyes.
That is so awesome. I love to hear it.
Yeah.
That is so awesome. Well, that is our time for this evening. I want to thank you so, so much for being a guest. I'm the guest host, but I want to thank you so much for coming on. Um, such good conversation with you. Thank you for sharing those
You're
sticks.
welcome.
That is such a good idea. I am definitely going to use that in my arsenal. So, again, thank you all for joining us on live. Is there anything else you'd like to say?
No, thank you for having me.
Okay. All right. So, thank
Thank
you all
you,
so much.
Prophetess Yolanda.
Yes. Oh, I'm so sorry we cannot get off live without honoring Prophetess Yolanda. Again, this is Conversations with Yolanda, and I am
Yes.
guest hosting, and Miss Deaconess Nancy is on as a guest with me. And so we just want to thank Prophet Yolanda for giving us this opportunity to talk
Yes.
about something that we're both so passionate about, talking about something that we really love and want to see help others just benefit and grow. And so we appreciate you giving us this opportunity.
Yes.
And we will see you next week.
Bye, everyone.
Thank you.